Now anyone who knows me realizes that I tend to not really be a masterpiece Transformers type of guy. In fact, when I look at them, I tend to be quite critical. I also tend to be pretty critical when I look at movie figures. So immediately it is going to be an uphill climb for this guy. It is the Transformers movie masterpiece, Barricade. And he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, I hope you're doing splendid. I know I certainly am, even though this guy is going to be a bit of a challenge. I expect a lot out of him. My name is Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and me everywhere. And here we have Barricade. And like I said, it's an uphill climb for this guy because when we are talking about something that has the moniker of masterpiece associated with it, I expect perfection. So this guy should be 10s across the board when it comes to his paint applications, his articulation, and his transformation. We'll see how that is. He looks good in this robot mode, I'll give him that. And he's hefty, real hefty. But, nevertheless, even with those two strengths, I'm not sold on him just yet. Let's see how he does stack up, how he does score when we head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And here we have MPM-5 Barricade. And apparently here in Canada at least, he's an exclusive for Toys R Us. I don't know what his availability is like elsewhere in the world. But anyway, such is the case here in Canada. And this is kind of outside of my normal wheelhouse because I don't often do masterpieces because I expect too much of them. Look, if you're going to have, I've said it before, I'm sure I'll say it again, I've said it a million times. If you're going to have a moniker like masterpiece associated with you, then you better be perfect. You know, like the old saying goes, don't sing it if you can't bring it. Don't say it if you can't live it. Don't claim to be something if you can't be that thing. Which means, since this is supposedly a masterpiece, in my mind, it should be 10s across the board. But will it be? Well, we're about to find out. This is your typical movie masterpiece packaging. Very similar to regular masterpiece. Vehicle form, robot form. We see the cross promotion of both Takara and Hasbro. Vehicle on this side and kind of a close-up of the robot face on this side. And back here we have more product shots. And we can see he has a movable faceplate apparently. Apparently, who knew? I dig it. It's officially licensed. It's an officially licensed vehicle mode. So it's a box. I'm cool with it so far. And once we get inside, we get these instructions, which I find to be largely useless. So let's just throw them away. We also get this plastic little display base that you probably can't see very well. It has a circular edge up here and a little slot down there. It is so you can store his other accessory, which is this bad mamma jamma right here. It is supposed to be reminiscent of his tire opening up and these spinning blades, I guess, coming out. It's a way to sort of fake that being able to be done with the figure because the tires can't open up like this on the figure. It's a way to fake it to kind of, give us that look. I'm cool with it. There's no way you could have fit this into the actual tire and have it make any sense. So I'm cool with it being done this way. There is a little rectangular kind of latch right here. You use it when you put it on the figure to latch in on the edge of the door, but using that little space in the back on the clear display stand, you can also place this down there and leave it on the display stand like that when you're not using it on Barricade. Weirdly enough, I have yet to be able to find any way to store this on Barricade in vehicle mode. So if you're going to have them in vehicle mode, you kind of have to have this up off to the side. I think that's a little bit of a shame, but considering how peculiar and oddly shaped this accessory is, like, it's forgivable, I guess. You know, I wouldn't want to try and carry this like a backpack or like as, you know, something on my arm. Why would I expect Barricade to want to do it? Speaking of Barricade, here he is in his vehicle mode. It looks pretty good, although you do see a little bit like of a panel right there. That's a slight shame. I like his light bar up top, the 643, the police here. Of course, he has the to punish and enslave. Like, I like the vehicle mode. It rolls really not great. Not great? Really? I thought it rolled better than this. Back tires don't seem to roll, but that's probably just me not having something quite done right here in vehicle mode, because I have converted them back a couple of times. I probably have some slight something amiss down in underneath. Normally he does roll pretty good in my experience. So I'm going to give it to him, even though he's not quite doing it here. This is the way he looks front on, or side on. This is a front on view. Other side. And the back view. I do not like the kind of feet hanging out at the bottom, so to speak. Starscream Fiance also was not a fan of that. It'd be nice if they could fold away a little bit better than what they do. But still, the car mode looks great. It is extremely movie accurate. Here he is next to the Dark of the Moon Mech Tech Barricade, who I looked at in episode 472. Look, if you're in for kind of the main movie line, I guess what we would call, like, the chug of movie line, so to speak. I know it's not Generations, really. Well, sometimes it's been labeled as Generations, but like for a mainline iteration of Barricade, I still think that the going standard is this guy. I know that we have an upcoming Studio Series version. I don't know if that'll be good or bad until that guy comes out. If you like the more kind of gangly original body type for Barricade from the first 3 films, then I think this one from the Dark of the Moon is your go-to. Naturally, if you are a collector that has been, you know, attuned to getting the masterpieces and the movie masterpieces, well, naturally, you're going to want to add Barricade because he's the only masterpiece version available. Speaking of Barricade and masterpiece, even if you're just a regular masterpiece collector, it's not like he's a character kind of like Optimus Prime, where you would have, like, you know, your regular masterpiece, like, you know, G1 style Optimus Prime, and then the movie masterpiece Optimus Prime, where they're both Optimus Prime, depends on what you like. Really, this is the quintessential idea of Barricade. I know he had a G1 form, but I think most people know him as the Decepticon police car. By the way, speaking of Optimus Prime, man, there has been a lot of talk about his upcoming masterpiece. I'm not sold on it. Something seems off about the chin to me. Obviously with color it's a lot better. A lot of people have said that the backpack is so big because there's like voice clips or something in there. I don't know. I heard he comes with a backpack, so I assume it's just his flight pack. I don't know. Either way you cut it, it's a toy that here in Canada is retailing for $600. Yes, you can probably import him a little bit cheaper. I know a lot of people do it from Japanese sites, and I don't know what the cost is of shipping there. You'll probably save a few dollars, but at the end of the day, at the absolute end of the day, let's keep some perspective. It's a toy, and there has to be a breaking point where consumers say, enough is enough. You've reached your ceiling, now you're just asking for too much. And this has to be it. Does it not? I don't know. It's not something I would ever in a million years consider, because even if I had the funds available for that, I know I could find something much better to do with $600 than spend it on one singular figure. and a singular figure that doesn't turn into a city any less. Somebody joked, because one of the pictures had a bunch of other masterpiece cars like laid out in the truck bed. If you got all of those masterpiece cars with this Prime, then then the price tag would make sense. But as it is, I can't justify it, and I really can't understand how somebody else does. I mean, to each their own. Hey man, it's your purchasing power, it's your life, and it's your priorities. Live and let live. But I don't understand it, and there's nothing anyone will say to me to make me understand it. But that's just me. I've gotten off topic. Let's take a closer look at Barricade. So far, he is actually doing pretty splendidly. I don't have any complaints. I haven't given him any grades yet. We are going to do the conversion, and I will do all of the grades once we get him in robot mode. And initially, the first time that I went to do this, it was rough. Not knowing what to do, it's not exactly intuitive. But once you kind of figure things out, it's not as bad. That being said, there's a lot of moving parts on this guy, like a lot, and a lot of little tiny ones. That's why I said perhaps in going back to vehicle mode, maybe I missed some small step that still allowed his feet to kind of be down a bit too far, and that's why the back tires aren't rolling as cleanly as I might like them to, because it's so easy to miss something here. Let's hope that we don't as we go through. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can go about getting into the transformation for this guy. And the first thing that I'll note is this. Going from robot back to vehicle, at least for me, tends to be somewhat easier. I think it's because you're going back to something that is familiar. Like, we know what a vehicle, like a car, looks like. When we go from this to his robot mode, he's just this, weird, gangly Decepticon, and you're almost not sure if is this the way it's supposed to look? Kind of looks right. We'll say it's the way it's supposed to look. So bear with me as we go through here and we'll see. I would venture to say to you that you could begin by splitting the back window here. And really, the whole side, right up along, is going to pull off. All of that is his shoulder and arm and hand. The whole thing. Or you can give yourself a little extra leverage if you lift the roof up and kind of get that out of the way. It gives you a little extra leverage toward the back here to be able to split the back and split the back. And then we come up to the front and we lift it off. And we lift it off, just a little bit. To give ourselves more room, we come to these windows on the side and pick them up. They like to fall down again, but they're on hinges, so angle them up past the windshield. You're probably gonna pop up the hood in the process, just like this. No problem. Now that we're here and have this off, we can sort of pull this out. There's an armature in here, and it's ratcheted. You can pull the whole thing out, do it on that side, and then once over here you have it loosened. Have it off, do the same thing, and boom. Now you have all of the arms out. This guy right now looks like a mess, and I understand why he would. I get why he would look like a mess, but it's actually not as bad as you would think. We're going to start with his lower body and kind of work our way up, sort of. You'll see what I mean as we go along here. So, starting with his lower body, right now I have his arms up out of the way, his torso is up out of our way, everything is up out of our way, and we just have the legs down here. We begin by bringing down those feet and by splitting the legs. Up here at the hip we have a gray hinge, and that gray hinge, it can come out to the side, and then his legs, they ratchet down. No problem. Then we can turn them around, really, and we come to these sections here on the back. And these sections on the back, they are on gray hinges. They turn to the side, fold in, and this whole kind of spoiler piece goes into a notch right here, I guess on the back of his leg, to collapse the whole thing in. We do the same over here. We take this off, we turn it, we close it in, and we, if I can do it, there, angle the whole thing in. And now we can stand him up. The only thing left to do here is he has little spike things on his toes. That's really the lower body done. I mean, the guy now, he can stand up at least. And now you can kind of see that the lower body's done. The upper body is still sort of a mess. I did forget one slight thing on the lower body. Kind of on the hips here, there are these little black, I don't even know what they are. Little black hooks, I suppose. They come out. Whew. Okay, wonderful. Next, I guess we'll probably do up the body, and then we'll do his arms last because they're kind of a mess to deal with. So coming up then, the rest of the body, getting these window pieces out of the way. We have, let's see if I can show this. We have a whole piece open and flailed out there. We have the hood and roof and whatnot attached to this gray section in here. And his head is back inside. So, we're going to begin by coming to the very front, and we take this whole grill section and we flip it all the way down underneath. We take these pieces on the side and we will angle those up a little bit. And we can flip out his head, which will bring forward this kind of chest section, I suppose. Now, when you bring the neck forward, there's like a whole neck section here. Be careful not to necessarily pull all of that forward, because it's not all supposed to be forward. It's really weird. And you also want to make sure that you have his like chin out. It's a bit of a strange series of movements, but when you have his head out, it will look kind of like that. Like it's up and proud. I don't know, up and proud. Now that we have this done, we can kind of collapse the body, and I don't know if I can show this. Can you see it? In here, in right here, there's an opening, and the body goes down into, the upper body goes down into that opening. And snaps in. You probably heard the snap. Then you're going to bring that whole piece back. There's a little rectangular nub there. It goes into a little rectangular slot down on this gray hinge. Keep the... You're also probably going to want to fold down the hood. Don't. Leave the hood out. So we bring the body back until it goes down into that gray hinge. And oh boy, is this challenging to try and see. Challenging to try and show, let alone try and see. But it should go back like that. Then, then, taking the arm down this way maybe, we come to these side windows. They're on gray hinges. You can bring the whole hinge forward, angle the window back. Bring the whole hinge forward, angle the window back. You can kind of put the windows at whatever angle you want. They don't seem to have a locking point unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I'll have to clean this up a little bit after, just to get it like salted away properly. Okay, taking that forward. Then you take the roof. So you have the hood in behind here. You take the roof, and there's a little slot there, and this little rectangular notch goes into that slot, and it locks it in place. That's the body now solidified. All that's really left to do is the arms. The first thing to note with the arms is the way the shoulders are. There's a whole mechanism in here that should like kind of be rotated up into place. So I'll try and show this close now. Okay, so we have like a pin here and then a pin way up here. This pin up here is on the shoulder. And you need to kind of rotate that whole fixture sort of forward until it locks in. That will lock the shoulder in place. You'll see the movement that you're supposed to make when you can kind of size that piece up yourself a little bit better. Here's a top-down view trying to show it. This shoulder's already done. This one over here needs to be rotated up. This section kind of in here needs to rotate forward. See if you can see it as I'm doing it here. Maybe you could. I hope you could. But that whole piece comes up and locks the shoulder in place. Now, just to orient ourselves so far, we've unfurled the legs, we've done the upper body, all that's left are the arms, and we even brought the shoulders forward. It's a lot, like I said, a lot of little moving parts. Even something as simple as the fact that when you bring his head forward, the whole neck piece wants to come forward. You almost need to push the neck piece back while pushing the head forward. It's a weird, like, series of movements to get the head in the correct position, but you'll know it. You'll know it because once the neck is pushed back and the head is forward like it should be, the head has stupendous articulation, some of the best I've ever seen actually. So the arms, we'll sort of try and deal with one at a time here. Okay, so we're going to try and deal with the arm now really from the elbow down. This is technically the back end of the vehicle. Very first thing that you will notice when you kind of turn, we'll say at the bicep for lack of a better term, is that the rear tire is tabbed on right here. We untab it, we bring it around, and it's on like a pin here. We slide it down, and there's a rectangular tab right there. We push that on. First time I did it, it was uncomfortable to do. Then we take the hand and we bring it forward. We rotate the hand around. There are two rectangular tabs on the back of the hand. They slot into the tire. I find that uncomfortable to do. But once it's done, it's done. Then we come into, I guess into the rear windshield and the inner part of his arm, and we flip this piece out that has the blue and the silver on it, and we close up his forearm. And then we come to the white door that says police. We lift it off, and we should be able to rotate that around. Why I can't right now, I don't know. Why are you being a nuisance? There. Rotate that around. Come to the tire. His elbow keeps wanting to bend on me. And you can sort of split the tire open. And then you can collapse the whole arm up. Collapses up on the lower hinge, collapses down, it accordions, and then the whole thing pushes in, or should push in to lock in. There. Pushes in and locks in, and that's one arm done, up close. The other one I'm going to do from a distance so you can kind of see it like done, you know, in context of the whole figure. So we would come over to this side, we would flip out this tire, we would push it down on its pin, and we would tab it in on the side. We would take the hand and bring it out. We would rotate the hand around, and we should be able to tab it onto the tire. We take the tire itself and sort of split it just a little bit. We open out the blue and silver forearm bit that's attached to the rear windshield. We close that over. We come to the white arm piece here. We rotate it down around, and then we accordion the arm all the way up, and we tab it on. There are his arms done. That leaves us with only one step left. These front fenders come all the way up over, and then the very, I guess, headlight comes down over the front. Front fender up over, headlight down, and if you want, you can even angle those out ever so slightly. And now, boom, in the end, here we have Barricade in his robot mode. Here he is next to that deluxe Dark of the Moon version. Honestly, both of them are nice. I mean, they're going for two kind of totally, put these up, two totally different takes. I mean, one is going to, you know, to be a mainline figure representation. The other one is meant to be a masterpiece representation. One is deluxe. The other, I would say, is about Voyager size, roughly. Maybe arguably leader size, but, you know, roughly. There are similarities, actually, to the transformation here. Like, if you know how to transform this guy, I don't think there's a huge jump to doing this guy. And the things that were wrong with this guy do seem to generally be fixed with this guy. I do see a logical evolution of improvement to the transformation. I like that. I like that. And despite how kind of cumbersome I made it look on camera, largely because I'm trying to show it to the person doing this for the first time, honestly, once you've done it a couple of times, you can actually flip this MP Barricade back and forth in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe, if that, maybe even quicker. It's not that hard. Honestly, transformation, 10. Absolute 10. So we have a 10 for transformation. Wow, what a start. Could this Barricade be perfect? Well, articulation we'll get to in a minute. The paint apps, I think they're pretty beautiful for the most part, especially that head sculpt. We have lovely silver accents everywhere, blue accents all over the place. I like it. Am I enough of a stickler for the movies that I can pick out imperfections here? No, I look at this and I think it is movie Barricade from movies 1 to 3. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. I'm going to say paint apps, 10. I mean, look at that face. How could it not be a 10? Speaking of the face, since we have it here, it says movable faceplate. I guess that means, I don't know if it's actually movable faceplate, but like his mouth can open and close. Like his mouth opens and closes. His mouth. It helps with transformation when you flip the head back, but that's amazing to me. What about the rest of the articulation, knowing that his mouth can open and close? Well, the head can go left and right, up, down. It can go all over the place. It's fantastic. The shoulders, they can go, I guess, out that far, which, I mean, it's not bad, all things, you know, considering the gangly nature of this guy, and it's ratcheted. The arms can go, you know, that out of the way. They can go forward and back. Actually, they should be able to go all the way around. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they can go all the way around. I don't know why I had an easier time on that side than this side, but they can go all the way around. These window pieces, they can move however you like. We have an elbow over 90 degrees. We have bicep swivel. We have fingers at the base pin knuckle. I don't think they're individually articulated. No, we have a thumb that moves. We have a waist. It does get sort of hindered by the backpack, but we do have a waist. We have legs that can do full splits. Way forward, back, ratcheted splits for to the side, but friction forward, back, it feels like to me. By our thigh swivel, knee to 90 degrees, feet forward, and a bit of ankle tilt. And he stands like a champion. There is one further piece of transformation, and that's how you kind of attach the accessory. Yes, you do need to do a little bit of transformation for it. I'll do it on this side since this is the arm closest to me. Although I think it's supposed to be done on the other side, but whatever. You can unfurl the arm. And when you do that, you can bring out the forearm, the piece that has the blue and silver. Bring that out. Put the forearm down as if you were going back to vehicle mode. Untab the hand. Rotate it around. Bring it back inside as if you're going back to vehicle mode. And take the tire, untab it, bring it up and around. Tab it back in. Again, as if you're going back to vehicle mode. Now that will expose a little notch, a little rectangular notch right here in the door. Using the rectangular hook tab that's on this, you should be, did not want to do it. You should be able to tab it on it does not want to tab it on this side as well as it does on the other side. I'll say this, it tabs in no problem at all on the other side. So color me surprised, I actually had to transform the arm back that I was going to use and use the left arm. Here's the thing, it did not fit on the right arm, like at all, it just kept falling off. It fits on the left arm. I don't know if that's deliberate or if it's supposed to fit on either one, but on this particular copy, it only seems to fit snugly on the left arm. I've heard a lot of people say that that accessory is quite loose. It's not bad on this copy on that one arm. So take that for what you will. I don't think it hurts the articulation at all because it's not absolutely necessary, and it does go on one of the hands just fine. He had a 10 for paint apps. He had a 10 for transformation. The articulation is shockingly good for such an odd, gangly, peculiar looking figure. Guess what? It's a 10. This is one of those very rare occasions, and I mean very rare occasions, where I can honestly say that this guy is indeed a masterpiece. He is a 10 across the board. Some people who would complain and say that the transformation is too challenging, while I could see your argument, I would honestly say that it's not so much challenging as you need to do it 2 or 3 times to get used to it. It gets exponentially easier each time you do it. Color me shocked, because I didn't expect this guy to be as good as he truly is. And here we are once again, and color me blown away by this guy. The weight is fantastic. There's a lot of die cast here, a lot to like. The joints, the hinges, all feel fantastic. Even little pieces of plastic like these little spike things on his toes feel good. Everything feels great on this guy. Here's the thing. The very first time that you do the conversion, I think you're going to find that it's a little bit of a bear. But the more you do it, the better it becomes, and the more intuitive it feels. So, paint apps. 10. It looks like Barricade. It's a fantastic rendition of his body type from movies 1 to 3. Articulation. Shockingly impressive considering how much kind of weird alien bulk there is on the guy, and the fact that he has these like odd gorilla-esque type of arms. But everything works really well and feels really good. And then the conversion, like I said a moment ago, if you're only doing it for the first or second time, you're probably going to find it a bit challenging. But once you kind of know how things go, it's actually pretty smooth and brilliant. And who doesn't like a transformation that is smooth and brilliant? He was 10s across the board. I'm not a masterpiece guy, but if I was, I would most assuredly add Barricade. Even if I wasn't into the movie masterpieces and just sort of regular masterpieces. The chances that we're going to get a G1 Barricade done as a masterpiece are unlikely, and his most popularized form is probably this form. So I would probably still opt for it. I think he's an absolute win.
Who knew I could be impressed with both a movie figure this much and a masterpiece figure? Yes, he indeed has earned his name. Anyway, let me know what you think about this guy or any of the other movie masterpieces. You know I love to hear from you folks. As always, thanks for dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. It is beyond appreciated, and I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.